Oh, hi everyone. I'm Mrs. G.
There's lots to do and see.
Come and play along with me. Come on.
I'm Mrs. G. There's lots to do and see. Come and play along with me. Story time with Mrs. G.
Oh, hi everyone. I'm in the middle of a Zoom call with my friends, Anthony, Stanley and Harry. And Harry is dressed up as a knight. Can you show me your lovely costume, Harry? Stand up a little bit. Wowee! He's got his helmet, he's got his shield and he's got his sword. Just like me. Which brings us very nicely onto my next story. TJ was playing in the garden. He'd taken his favourite toys outside. It was a lovely sunny day. And he'd got his castle, he'd got his knights, and he'd got his fierce, fire-burning dragons. He was having a great game. And he was just about to place the flag in the top of the castle when April came running outside. TJ, can I come and play? I've got my favourite unicorn. TJ looked at April and he thought he didn't really want a unicorn in the same story as his dragons and his knights. No, you can't, said TJ. Well, I'm going to tell Mummy, said April, and she ran inside to tell Mummy. Now, the thing is, you see, in lockdown, it's very difficult. If you're living in a house with the same people day in, day out, TJ and April were starting to get a little bit fed up with each other. Mummy, TJ won't let me play with him, said April. Mummy called out, TJ, I think it's time for you to have your Zoom call with your friends now anyway. Oh yes, said TJ, I haven't seen my friends for so long, not since we had the football land. Since we had football in the garden. He pretended that he hadn't said anything about the football land. He went running inside, and little did he realise that April started to play with his castle and her unicorn. TJ had finished his Zoom call. He went back outside, expecting to play with his castle, his dragon and his knights again. He noticed that April had been playing with them, and she left the dragons all over the place, and she'd even put her unicorn on top of the castle. TJ was so fed up, he went inside and he went up the stairs, up one flight of stairs and up the next flight of stairs, and then into his bedroom. And he went up the steps of his bed, into his bed, and pulled the covers over himself. Where was Big Alfred? Where was Big Alfred when TJ needed him? He'd been hoping to go on an adventure to Castle Land for so long, since he saw it last time after the Tunnel of Dreams. Where was Big Alfred? He'd even taken himself to bed early on several occasions. Tossed and turned, and then suddenly he heard the cough of Big Alfred. Big Alfred, you're here! I've been waiting for you for so long. I really want to go to the Castle Land. Okay, TJ, I get it. Come on, come with me. Close your eyes and count to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And when he opened his eyes, there they were, climbing up the steps of the flying saucer. The doors opened, they walked in, and the door shut behind them. TJ looked at Big Alfred, and Alfred looked at TJ. Had Big Alfred grown, or had TJ shrunk? I don't know. Big Alfred started pressing the buttons on the control panel, and the flying saucer went up into the sky. Past the birds, past the clouds, past the sun, past the moon, past the stars, past all the planets. Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. And there in front of them was Castle Land. Yippee, said TJ. I've been wanting to come here for so long. It looks amazing. Oh, I know you're excited, TJ, said Big Alfred. But before we go into Castle Land, you will need these. He handed TJ a sword and a shield. You will need those for fighting dragons. Yippee, said TJ. This is just what I wanted in an adventure. Ran down the steps of the flying saucer, and there in front of them was the great big castle. How do we get in? Said TJ. We should get in by the drawbridge, said Big Alfred. I don't know. Suddenly they heard a voice. Yoo-hoo, TJ! TJ looked up and there he saw April hanging out of one of the turrets of the castle. What was April doing in his adventure, his special Castle Land adventure? April, what are you doing here? What are you doing here? Said April. And how do we get in? Said TJ. Well, if you can see that rope that's hanging from the turret, why don't you hold on to it and you can get up to me and I'll tell you how to get into the castle. Big Alfred and TJ held onto the rope, and as they climbed higher and higher up to the top of the turret, they realised it was actually April's hair they were hanging on to. Got to the top of the turret, TJ looked at April. What are you doing here, April? Well, she said, I've come to help the dragons with my unicorn and my magic wand. Oh, said TJ, I can't believe this. And what have you come here for? Said April in a little bit of a smug voice. I've come to fight the dragons, said TJ with his sword and his shield. Well, off you go then, said April. But if you need me to open the drawbridge at any time, you need to call out, April, and I will open the drawbridge for you. Okay, said TJ, and he and Big Alfred went off. They had to go all the way down the steps of the castle. It was a long, long way down. And when they got to the bottom, there was a huge entrance hall. And in the entrance hall, they looked around and they could see lots of knights in shining armour. Wow, said TJ, I'd always wondered what it was like in a castle. And there in the corner of the castle, there was a fire burning flames. Suddenly, the knights popped their helmets off. And one by one, TJ realised it was his friends. It was Anthony, Harry, Stanley and Taylor. Hi friends, he said, what are you doing here in my adventure? We've come to help you fight dragons, they all said. But where are the dragons? Said TJ, looking around a little bit worriedly. Suddenly the fire that was burning slowly from the grate suddenly burst into flames, and there was a dragon. Help, said TJ. Quick, grab your sword, said Big Alfred. TJ grabbed his sword and he started waving it at the dragon, and as he waved, the dragon flew higher and higher and higher out through the turret where April was. Thought TJ. Well, that got rid of the dragon, but I hope April's okay. TJ and all of his friends quickly picked up their swords and quickly picked up their shields, and they decided they were going to fight these dragons, because from every corner of the castle, the fire-blowing dragons came. Fiercely, three-headed, two-headed, one-headed flying dragons just coming out to fight with them. Every time TJ and his friends waved their swords at these dragons, the dragons seemed to fly higher and higher up to the turret where April was, and then disappeared. Each time this happened, TJ was thinking, I hope April's all right. Big Alfred said, I think we need to get out of here. We need to call April. We need April to lower the drawbridge. Okay, said TJ. Come on, everyone. We've got to call April after 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. April! By magic, the drawbridge lowered and out went TJ and Big Alfred. And there was the flying saucer. Come on quickly, said Big Alfred. Count backwards from 5 this time. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, said Knight TJ. And there they were in the flying saucer, which started to fly up, up, up. As they got as high as the turret, TJ looked out of the window. He was a little bit worried about April. And there he saw her holding her magic wand and her unicorn. And instead of being surrounded by all those dragons, April must have turned them all into beautiful unicorns. But as TJ watched April, she leant over to wave goodbye to TJ and the flying saucer, and she accidentally dropped her wand. Alfred didn't seem to notice, and he started pressing the buttons on the control panel. The flying saucer went up, 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 past all the planets. Neptune, Uranus, Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, Venus and Mercury. And there in front of them was the moon, the stars, the sun, the clouds and the birds. And now, said Big Alfred, it's time for this adventure to end. Oh, said TJ, but don't worry, I'll come and see you again. Just shut your eyes and count backwards from 10. Okay, said TJ. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And when he opened his eyes, there he was in his bed. He rolled over and undid the blind. Yes, it was morning. That was fantastic, thought TJ. But I wonder if my sister is still here. If she's in her bed or if she's still on the castle turret. As TJ got down from his bed, April started bursting into his room. TJ, TJ! She was still holding her unicorn. Have you seen my magic wand? No, said TJ. Well, I seem to have lost it. I must have left it somewhere. TJ looked at April and April looked at TJ. Was it a dream or was it real?
Cooking with Mrs. G.
So today it is my friend's birthday. 2 friends actually, a little boy and a little girl. And I'm sorting out my candles to go on a birthday cake. Now, they both like knights and dragons and castles and unicorns. So I thought I would make a castle cake. A very big cake, and we've got lots of ingredients to go in it. And once it's baked, then Mrs. G will have to decorate with all these lovely, yummy, chocolatey sweeties. First of all, we will need some weighing scales and my great big mixing bowl. And we need butter, sugar, 4 eggs, some self-raising flour, and some cocoa. I call that the magic ingredient today. She has already measured out her ingredients. So first of all, we're going to put the butter into my big mixing bowl. And let's mix. Now add the sugar and mix them together. Now the 4 eggs need to be whisked with a fork. You can do that. But if you do get any yolk on your fingers, make sure you wash them. And I'm only going to add a little bit at a time. So there we go, a little bit into the rest of the mixture. And leave that for in a minute. So, butter, sugar and eggs. Now half the flour. Pop that in. Rest of the eggs. In they go. Mix it all very well together. And lastly, the rest of the flour. Ingredients are mixed together. I'm going to find the magic ingredient. This is cocoa powder, and you can use as much as you like. As chocolatey as you like, and as it's a birthday cake, I'm going to make it extra chocolatey. Here we go, watch it change colour. Smells delicious. So now we're going to pop the chocolate mixture into the big cake tin. I'm going to put a little bit of parchment there, and we're going to grease the tin. Notice that Mrs. G has left a little bit of chocolate mixture. So we're going to put some small cake cases into the tin. I need 4 chocolate cakes. So now I'm going to get the rest of the mixture and pop it in. And now they're ready to go into the oven. But first of all, I want you to cook the big cake because the smaller cakes won't take so long. So let's see how long this takes to bake.
Craft with Mrs. G.
So Mrs. G thought she would make a castle today. Well, it's a bit of an experiment because I haven't actually made it yet. So bear with me. First of all, we will need a shoebox. And inside my shoebox, I have 4 kitchen towel inners. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we will need a cereal box, which I have cut open. And we will use the card from this cereal box. Then in my craft basket today, I have some foil. We have some PVA glue today to make it a little bit stronger. And some sellotape and some glue and, oh yes, very importantly, some paintbrushes, some white paint and also some of these little paints, not a lot of things, and some scissors. And to decorate, we have some pretty sparkles. First of all, I'm going to draw the drawbridge. You'll remember in the story that TJ and Big Alfred had to call April to come and draw the drawbridge down. That sounds funny. Okay, I'm going to cut that round like this. And this. And there you can see, it goes down just like a drawbridge. Okay, now for the sides, I'm going to use my cereal box. So we're going to cut it all. Now, if you have a look at the castle over here, you will see that it has ridges all the way around its turrets. So I'm going to draw them on my bit of card, like this. I have cut out 2 sides from the cereal box and I'm going to stick them to the shoebox like this, and this is where you need the stronger glue. So I'll pop some in a little bowl and pop it on the back. Lots and lots of glue, not quite up to the turrets because they're going to show over the shoebox, and you'll see what I mean by that. There we go, and pop that on the side. Press it down firmly. There, that's beginning to take shape. Now for the other side, obviously I've got the drawbridge. So what I'm going to do is draw around the drawbridge. Now glue on the other side. And put that on like this. I'm now going to put those to dry, and in the meantime we're going to make the turrets. Now I'm going to wrap all these kitchen roll inners with some foil, and then they will be the turrets for the castle. So that's quite easy, round and round, and then I'll cut that bit. And what I do is fold the ends in like that. That's one. Next one. There are the 4 turrets. Now the next little job is to make some paint. So I'll get my little pot, and we need some white and we need some black because we're going to make grey. Because most castles were sort of a silvery grey colour. And where's the paintbrush? Put the white in first, I think. There we go. White and a little bit of black. And there you have it, grey paint. And that's ready to paint the castle. Mrs. G has got her grey paint ready. I'm going to paint my castle. And now the castle is painted. Mrs. G has added 1, 2, 3 of the turrets. 1 more to go. If you use some sellotape, that will stick pretty well. And here it is. And now now you can decorate it however you like. Mrs. G has got these pretty jewels. Perhaps I'll put them around the doorway. Make it look lovely. There we go. But it's your castle, so you can decorate it however you like. While we're waiting for the cakes to be baked, we're going to prepare the icing and the decorations. So we need some butter and we need some icing sugar, and we're going to make buttercream. As much butter as you like into your big mixing bowl. Mix it round and round and round. And then you add the icing sugar. Now I'm going to add the magic ingredient, some cocoa powder. It's going to be a very chocolatey cake today. Now that's ready. I'm going to leave it to cool, and then we will get on with the decorating. So pop this on here. Now I'm going to cover the whole cake in the lovely chocolatey buttercream. Just take your time doing it all the way around the outside. And now we're going to put the beginnings of the turrets on the 4 areas of the castle. And now I'm going to cut the top of these little cakes off and pop them next to the turrets, like this. 1. Okay, and there we have the cornets. Are now 4 turrets, and to decorate all the way around we need these chocolate fingers, so we place them like this, and now we need to find something for a drawbridge, and I thought this little biscuit is perfect shape. There we go. That's the drawbridge at the front of the castle. This biscuit is perfect for a drawbridge. Up, down, and there we go. And now to decorate. I've got these lovely blue and pink sweeties, so they're going to go all the way around. They look a little bit like unicorn colours. That's because the packet I bought was actually unicorn sweeties. All the way around. And there we have it. Your castle cake. Happy birthday to all my friends, and especially to Eleanor and Emmanuel and to Layla. Happy birthday, my friends. Been in today. Mrs. G had lots of games to play. Along came Big Alfred. Where was he going to go? He has adventures to a land that's past the moon. However you're feeling, whether you're happy or sad, you can go on an adventure that makes you feel glad. Take care, we'll see you very soon.